76ers back in action tonight on the eve of Armed Forces Day. A great nod from Tobias Harris, who comes from military lineage. His grandfather, John Mulzac, a former Tuskegee Airman, something he's talking about a lot, and great to see that represented on his style and fit tonight. Danny Green, 176er who finished in double figures last night, going to help his squad rebound after a tough trip to Indianapolis and Miami. Always great to see that man giving salutations or other things. And another greeting from Matisse Thybulle. Hopefully his hand is in good shape tonight. He is about a 50% chance status of playing as the 76ers get ready for their final two games of this regular season. They have a two-game homestand with the Orlando Magic starting tonight down there at the Center. As we welcome you into 7-6 Live Countdown presented by Tissot, I'm Brian Seltzer, Lauren Rosen. Good evening to you. The 76ers, their mission tonight is to keep on going after that magic number of 1 as they look to wrap up the Eastern Conference first seed spot going into the playoffs. Their first opportunity was on Tuesday. The game did not go their way. The most recent opportunity was last night. The game did not go their way, but they have another chance tonight against a 21-49 team in Orlando.
And needless to say, Celts, the team not very happy with their performance last night against Miami. It ended up being a 106-94 victory for the Heat, but it felt a little bit more distant than that throughout. I know we're going to hear from Tobias Harris and Danny Green, who are eager to bounce back, and luckily the team has an opportunity to do just that about 24 hours later at home, where they are the best home team in the Eastern Conference, one of the better home teams in the NBA, playing against a severely shorthanded, undermanned Orlando Magic team for what seems like the perfect opportunity to clinch that 1 seed.
76ers and the Brooklyn Nets both have 2 games remaining. Brooklyn will play tomorrow and Sunday. The 76ers playing tonight and then again on Sunday for their regular season finale. The Sixers 1 game in front of Brooklyn for the top spot in the East. They do, of course, hold the tiebreaker with Brooklyn for the 3-game season series, having won that series 2-1. Also up for grabs for the Sixers, their first Atlantic Division title since 2001. They are also going for the 1 seed in the East for the first time since 2001. But the good news line for the Sixers is they appear like they'll have just about everyone available tonight. Matisse Thybulle sounds like he might be the only real question mark.
Yes, indeed. Doc Rivers on his pregame media availability just minutes prior to our stream let us know that it did seem like everybody would be available. So my injury report job, a little bit more boring this evening. He said everybody seems to be available, but that Matisse Thybulle with that left hand swelling remains about a 50-50. Good to hear, though, that he is progressing towards his return.
We like boring when it comes to the injury report. No need to make that exciting or interesting. That can just be, we can check that off on the drab box. Show in and show out. We don't need excitement with the injury report.
Yeah, I'm all about it. If you need any excitement on the injury report, though, you got to check out these Orlando Magic, who will be struggling. They have 7 out, 1 questionable, so certainly a shorthanded outing for the Magic tonight, and likely once again on Sunday in the regular season finale as these teams meet once again.
Yeah, Orlando has lost 5 straight games, 21-49. They are second to last in the Eastern Conference. It seemed like Orlando was heading in the right direction about 2 seasons ago, but this trade deadline this past February, they offloaded everyone, and right now they're just going through the motions and trying to wrap up this season, while the 76ers on the total opposite end of the spectrum, where they're trying to regain some momentum as they head in to what will essentially be an off week before starting their first round playoff series either next Sunday or a week from this coming Monday. Last night, it was a loss to the Miami Heat by the score of 106-94. A game, Lauren, that the Sixers, despite getting Joel Embiid into the lineup, he was a game-time decision. He was able to play. Sixers weren't ever really in that one last night. They lost 106-94, but it was really in the first quarter where Miami staked its claim, and they were up 38-22 after 12 minutes of play.
Yeah, like you said, Seltz, the Sixers struggled to find their rhythm, find their footing in this one. It was a tough start, and credit, of course, to the Heat, who they gave credit to post-game, who really kept their foot on the gas throughout. And it's something you and I have talked about a lot. Really interesting to see so many teams still have so much to play for. The Heat, of course, also jockeying for seeding in the Eastern Conference. So really cool to be in these final few games of the season and still see so many teams so engaged with a lot to play for. I think this play-in tournament setup is going to be really good for this league long term. It's certainly been a fun way to wind this season down, just keeping everybody engaged.
We talked about this on last night. Certainly not outside the realm of possibilities that those two teams, the 76ers and the Heat, could see each other again in as soon as maybe 3 weeks' time in the second round of the playoffs. Listen, Miami's got a really good team. We know that. They have a pedigree. They went on the run to the finals in the bubble last year. They've got some veterans who are tough and physical. And I just thought that Miami out physical the 76ers last night. Yeah, they did stuff like they knocked down threes and their players certainly stepped up. They had a commanding advantage on the glass, but I just think that Miami was the more physical team and was able to impose its will.
Yeah, they certainly made some tough shots that you might not expect all to go in, but the Sixers didn't put up enough of a fight to negate those extra shots that were going in for Miami. I do believe, though, like you said, it could be a preview for a playoff series, and I think the Sixers now know what's coming for them if they meet down the road.
Jimmy Butler led the Heat with 21 points. Bam Adebayo had 18, 12, and 8. Butler went 4 for 4 from outside the arc. I'm not sure if that's going to happen too many more times for Jimmy. He might shoot very well for a good percentage, but as far as going perfect on that number of attempts, that might have been out of the norm. 76ers led by Tobias Harris last night with 21, and he shared his thoughts about what went down in Miami after the game.
Yeah, I mean, they're a team that's playing with a lot of confidence now. They're playing great basketball. Their energy from the start hurt us. Their physicality as well. You would have thought they were the team playing out there to punch a number one seed. I mean, we didn't bring it tonight from the start of the game and on, and their energy, that showed throughout the game. So, we just got to get our focus and our energy level up to where it needs to be, and we can't have games like this at this point of the year. But we have another one tomorrow to get back and get right to.
76ers shot 28% from 3, 7 for 25 last night. Zone Lauren seemed to give the Sixers some problem, but also to Miami's credit, they are in general a very good defensive team, and they're especially good playing that zone.
Yeah, and like you said, some shots were falling that weren't typically falling. So I think, like the Sixers, willing to sort of put that one behind us. For those asking in the comments, as I frequently check on this show, Furkan Korkmaz expected to be available. He was upgraded to probable, and per Doc Rivers, seems like he could be available for this one. Matisse Thybulle remains questionable. Keep the questions coming. I will always have injury report updates for you as quickly as I possibly can.
Danny Green for the 76ers went 3 for 5 from outside the arc in Miami. And there is our guy, an outstanding podcaster in his own right, Danny Green, going through warm-ups tonight as the 76ers get ready to host the Orlando Magic. If there's anyone who knows how to win on the 76ers, it is that guy. He is on a hot streak. He has won titles each of the last 2 seasons and 3 overall for his career. And he was reflecting on where the 76ers are right now after that game on South Beach.
I think the games like this are good for us. I don't say a loss, but playing like a playoff team down the stretch right now gets you prepared to see, and especially a team that we might match up with down the stretch, to see how we match up with them and how what adjustments we need to make is always a good challenge. But 20-point loss is never a good loss. I think you learn a lot more from a loss than a win, but I think just the challenge itself is what's going to help us in the long run and in the future.
When guys like Danny Green say stuff like that, Lauren, I think the players inside the locker room have to take heed to it. He's a guy who's been through it. He knows. He gets it.
Yeah, no doubt. He certainly has one of the louder voices in the locker room, and you hear him react to the performance the way that he did. you feel like this is a team that's in good hands under his helm. Of course, add Dwight Howard, Tobias Harris, George Hill to that list. Quite a leadership group for these 76ers. Good to know that those will be the guys leading them through this playoff push.
And I'll be honest, I can't really fault Joel Embiid. I can't ever fault Joel Embiid for anything because he's so darn good. But last night, 6 points, 2 rebounds, 25 minutes, 3 for 9 from the field. Wasn't with the 76ers at the start of the road trip, was dealing with an illness. And that's a difficult environment to be in going up against a team that has winning and finishing out the season strong on its mind and trying to move up the rungs on the Eastern Conference ladder. So I can't really hold it against Joe for last night.
And of course, Bam Adebayo playing some of his best basketball. Would be interesting, of course, if he didn't end up making an All-NBA team this season. I know that's a matchup that the two of them both relish playing against one another. And for that reason, even alone, I hope to see the matchup once again in the playoffs.
Lauren, I think I can hear something in the background at the center bustling. It is just about that time to check in with our guys at Sixers ENT. Take it away.
Welcome back. It's the 7-6 live countdown presented by Tissot, the official watch of the NBA and your Philadelphia 76ers. It's your main man, Archie, standing next to the one and only Christian Crosby.
That was a wonderful introduction, Archie. Thank you. Sixers basketball is happening tonight and couldn't be happier to be home. As you can see, Squad 7-6 has the energy going as well as the Sixers Stixers. We want to remind you before we get started tonight, download that official 76ers app. There's photos, there's videos, there's wallpapers, and you can tune in to the best podcast in the NBA with Brian Seltzer and Lauren Rosen. I got to remind you, too, tonight we are celebrating our military Appreciation Night presented by Toyota. Stars and Stripes all the way. We got a lot more, right? Archie, what do we got else?
That's right. So first of all, if you're at home and someone is sitting next to you that's serving our military, give them a big hug for us. Let them know we love them and we appreciate them. And also on that app is where you can download your Wendy's Frosty Freeze Out.
That's the Wendy's dance.
That's the happy Wendy's dance. Now, anytime those Orlando Magic miss 2 consecutive free throws, you get some free East and Fabulous Treats. The first 2, we get a small Frosty. The second 2, a small fry. And the third 2, we get a medium Frosty and a medium fry. So download that 76 app right now.
All right, let's get into the fun. We do this every game, and I don't see why we would stop today. Let's give it up to the Sixers. Stixers!
Know what to do. Sit back, relax, grab your snacks, catch the game on NBC Sports Philadelphia, 97.5 The Fanatic. And in the meantime, in between time, let's go Sixers! Woo!
Cannot wait to see Archie Christian, Sixers ENT, Sixers Stixers in action once we get to the postseason. How the increased crowd size, 50% capacity at the center, around 10,000. That'll take those guys to an even higher level. Hard to imagine they could get even higher than where they are right now, but they thrive in that type of environment.
Yeah, they've been awesome all season long, Celts, and the fans coming into the building halfway through certainly helped. I've said it before and I will say it again, 3,000 Sixers fans are much louder than some full buildings around the league. So I too look forward to that increased capacity during these playoffs. These fans, obviously a massive part of this team's success, and it's been great to have some of them back.
All righty, let us talk briefly, because we have to, about the Orlando Magic. They are 21-49 on the season. Not very good, but this is a good young man. Mo Bamba, the pride of West Town, mentored under the tutelage of the fine Seth Berger. But yes, the Orlando Magic doomed for another disappointing season. As you can see, 8th time under 500 in the last 9 years. Looked like they were turning a corner 2 years ago when they finished over 500, but they shipped away Aaron Gordon to Denver, Nick Vucevic to Chicago earlier this season. That's what I got, Lauren.
Evan Fournier made his way up to Boston. Terrence Ross, who then sort of took the helm with the group, ended up having a back injury that's kept him out over the last couple of weeks. So, of course, I have no updates there, but don't necessarily expect to see him this weekend if he's taken the bulk of the last few weeks off. So, unenviable position for Orlando, of course, but potentially giving way to an opportunity for the Sixers to get it done in a hurry tonight.
Yeah, and also can't forget that Markelle Fultz got off to a great start this season, was really happy for him, and then he suffered an injury that cost him the rest of this year. So at some point, perhaps, the Magic will be back. If I'm not mistaken, this might have been the New Year's Eve game, one of the most dominant performances by the 76ers this season, and it came early on. Yes. Seeing is believing.
They made quick work of this one, that is for sure, Seltz, and hopefully we'll be able to do it once again and maybe twice again on Sunday as we close out the regular season. I can hardly believe it.
Crazy to think this was just week number 1 of the year, and here we are with 2 games to go. Joel Embiid playing monstrous down low. It is time, as I feel the authentic Spalding leather on my watch tingling. That means it is time. So take a look at my Tissot Chrono XL NBA Special Edition for tonight's Tissot keys to the game.
Seltz, my Tissot PR 100 agrees. It is time indeed for the keys to the game. Well, Seltz, we've talked about it quite a bit. The Sixers certainly have the upper hand when it comes to availability and firepower tonight. Oh, I'm getting extra seconds on that clock, and you know I love that. The Sixers, however, will be without Dwight Howard tonight, as we learned last night after that technical foul. The team, of course, will be ready to welcome him back with open arms. But while he's away, I said hold it down low in the minutes in which Joel Embiid is not playing. Of course, expect to see a little bit of Mike Scott. Doc Rivers alluded to the potential for some more Ben Simmons small ball 5, and you never know when B-ball Paul could get out there. So as long as you're holding it down low when Joel is not on the floor, should be in a pretty good position independently of the opponent, but of course pretty overmatched tonight with or without Dwight Howard. So you'd hope that team can get it done.
Okay, 76ers, last 2 games. Indiana Pacers, team that was hungry, trying to secure berth in the play-in tournament. I get it. They were hungry. Miami Heat trying to get home court advantage in the first round, maybe beyond. Who knows? I understand Miami a little bit more urgent than the Sixers last night. Tonight, they are playing a team that is ready to wrap this thing up in Orlando. Sixers, no need to make this interesting. No need to sweat it out. Great opportunity at home to just take advantage of your talent and wrap up that number 1 seed. So, I feel like that was a little bit fabricated on my part tonight, Lauren, and we certainly don't like to fabricate our keys to the game, but this is a more holistic night for me than it is technicalities or X's and O's and execution, that sort of thing. I think if the Sixers are just the Sixers, then hopefully things will turn out just right.
Absolutely nothing wrong with that, Seltz. You know I like a macro key to the game, so tonight we got to switch roles a little bit, and I'm cool with it.
That's right. All right, and those are our Tissot keys to the game. Tonight is Military Appreciation Night presented by Toyota at the Center, so that is great to see. Tomorrow is Armed Forces Day, so a nice way to kick off the weekend with a celebration like this. Lauren, I know that you were involved in creating some specialty content with Matisse Thibel to acknowledge and give a toast to all the great women and men serving selflessly in this country.
Yeah, that was a really special conversation that Matisse and I shared with Brad Snyder, Paralympic champion and veteran. It was really cool to get to know him. If you're interested, definitely check out @SixersStrong, who hosted that video for us. I also posted it on my Twitter. So go check it out. It's a 5-minute segment. I learned a ton from both Brad and Matisse. It was a really, really special conversation. I urge you to check it out. Pre-game tonight, you have, as I tend to remind, about 45 minutes to consume some extra content ahead of tonight's game. I would start there.
And I believe we also have a quick shout-out piece to all the service women and men out there on this Military Appreciation Night. So before we wrap this up, let's give that a look.
My grandfather was a Tuskegee Airman, was always a role model to myself, to my brothers and sisters. So he always just showed us the appreciation for people that represented their country and wanted to really make a way for other people along those steps. And he was always that type of person with a great smile, a great enjoyment for life, and an appreciation for life. And you know, he always has a special place in myself and my family's heart. Not a day goes by that I don't think about him. I know that he's always watching over myself and brothers and sisters every day.
My dad, who was a Marine for 25 years, was, you know, he was sacrificing his life. Him and, you know, the rest of his guys out there, you know, trying to protect us, keeping us safe here in the States. You know, him having to deploy for, you know, a year at a time and, you know, a year and a half at a time, and, you know, being able to, you know, write him and talk to him while he's away, and that was pretty tough. But I know it was for the great for everyone and everyone back here in the States. So I have a lot of deep appreciation for those guys over there protecting us. So thank you.
To those that are currently serving our country, my message is thank you. Your determination for us to have better days and freedom is always truly appreciated, and I appreciate it, my family appreciates it, and I'm extremely thankful for you.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you for your sacrifice.
We certainly thank Toyota for helping present Military Appreciation Nights at the center each and every year. Great job by Nina Raspa, one of our producer editors in Studio 76, for cutting that piece. Powerful words from Tobias Harris and Mike Scott. There's a lot, Lauren, that I miss about being at the center. There's a lot that I think Sixers game presentation does a great job with, but I always love the salute to the service women and men that typically happen in the first quarter, and some of the surprise returns of military service women and men when they're surprising their family or getting surprised by their family. So hopefully as things begin to gradually return to normal, those are the types of moments that we can continue to have down there at the barn.
Yeah, always special indeed. Our hearts and gratitude are with servicemen and women tonight. I agree, that was an awesome tribute from Tobias and Mike. So thanks to them as well for sharing their stories and their family stories.
We thank Trevor Gaffney and Ryan Coletti on the sticks tonight. Thank you, Lauren Rosen, and thanks to everyone for streaming along with us. Our final edition of 7-6 Live Countdown, presented by Tissot for the regular season, we'll be here through the playoffs, is going to be on Sunday. It's a 7 o'clock game, so we'll talk to you at 5:30. Enjoy tonight's game.